Okay, welcome back. So couple more examples. So let's look at the -4, -240. So that means that we need to look in the -240 direction. So that means we're going to measure our angle in the negative direction. So halfway around would be -180, right? So we're going to have to go up to where it says 120. 120 is the same as -240. So we're going to look in the -240 direction. So we're going to look facing that purple line, facing the same way as that purple line, but we're going to walk backwards. So if I walk backwards from there, I have to go back radius of 1, radius of 2, radius of 3, radius of 4. So that purple point is right there. The last one, running out of colors, let's do black. So again, this is a negative radius, so we're going to look in the direction of -5 pi over 6. So remember, halfway around is -6 pi over 6. So down here looking at 210 is -5 pi over 6. Right, -5 pi over 6. So I'm going to look in that direction. So I'm going to look this way, but because the radius is negative, I'm going to walk backwards. So directly opposite, I'm going to walk backwards 2 units on the radius. So that puts me right here. So -2, -5 pi over 6 is the same as +2, 30 degrees. Different ways to write the same point. Okay, so we plotted those. Now let's think about what's the 4 ways that we can write this point. So first let's figure out what the radius is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 units out. So one way we could write that, of course, is the most easiest way, is the radius is 6. The angle is 60 degrees. We could do it, the second easiest way to do it is still a positive radius of 6, but let's measure the angle in the negative direction. So a 60 degrees is the same as -300. I'll fit that on there. Let's see, -300. You'll notice that 360, whoops, that's supposed to be a 300, not a 306. 360 add up to 360. So the negative and the positive angle, if you don't look at the sign, should add up to 360 degrees. So 60 degrees is a -300. So one way to write it would be 6 -300. Now, if we want to do it, if we want to do it with a negative radius, that means that we're going to walk backwards. That means we have to face the opposite way. So we're going to be facing this 240 degree angle. So that means that our radius is going to be -6. We're going to walk 6 in the negative direction, right? So we're facing 240, so we're walking backwards to get there. So -6, that is the ugliest -6. Let's try again. -6, and if I do the angle in the positive direction, I go 0 all the way around to 240. So it is -6, 240 degrees. If I use a negative angle, it's -6, and I'm going to measure the angle this way. So that's going to give me, see that down to the bottom would be -90, so it's going to be -120 degrees. Now, these are all in degrees. You could also do the same thing and put all of these in radians. So like 6 pi over 3, 6 -5 pi over 3, -6 4 pi over 3, -6 -2 pi over 3. Oh, I did them all on one and I did separate. Okay. So here's another one. So now our point is down here at the 210. So again, let's start with the positives. So the radius here is it's out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we use a positive angle, 210 degrees. Because it's on the 210. If we measure the angle in the negative direction, instead of being 210, it's going to be negative 150. You can also think about, look how far I'm going in the negative direction and look this way and say, oh, that's 150. So this distance is 150 around the circle, so this distance is negative 150. So we can also write this as 7 negative, 7 negative 150. Now, if we do the negative radii, that means we're going to have to face the other direction. So instead of facing 210, we're going to face 30 degrees. So we're going to do negative 7, 30 degrees, because we're going to face 30 degrees and we're going to walk backwards 7 units. And if we want to do negative angle and negative degrees, we're going to walk backwards 7, but instead of calling this 30, we're going to have to go around the circle the other way to get there. So that would be negative 330. Okay, last example, plot the point negative 3, 5 pi over 4. So that means we're going to face, even though this is the 5 pi over 4 is the second number, that's really the one you have to look at first. So what angle am I going at? So 5 pi over 4. So here's 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. So we are going to face 5 pi over 4, but we are going to walk backwards 1, 2, 3. So that would be how you'd plot that. So those are all the polar coordinates. You do have homework to work on. It's kind of a combined worksheet between today and tomorrow. You need to at least do, I think it's just the very front page. Let me see if I can get this to pause for a second and I'll look it up. But now it's disappeared. Ooh, got everything going, don't I? We just love Google. There we go. Okay, so this is what your homework looks like. It does have 3 sides. This is 2 days worth of homework. So you should at least do the front side of the first page, because then we can come in and we can talk about it and make sure you understand exactly how it works before you do the rest. If you're sure you understand it and you want to get ahead, go for it. The rest of it's going to be homework tomorrow night anyway. So you need to plot and label those points, use them with positive r and theta, and then what would it be if you put theta in radians? So there's going to be another option there. Okay, hope everything went well, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.